Hi, and welcome to question 4 of the 2024 paper 1 for the Leave Cert ordinary level exam. So question 4 here is basically algebra. Now part A says solve, which is an important word, the following equation in x is an element of R. Now that just means that x is a real number, so it can be any number. Okay, so that's kind of irrelevant. Any number. So solve means we need to have our variable, our letter, on one side and everything else on the far side. So what do we need to do to achieve that? The first thing I'll notice is that it is an equation, so the rules of algebra apply. And the second is that there's only one variable, and in this case, they're calling it x. So basically, we want x on one side, everything else on the far side. Now, the first job to doing that would be normally to remove brackets. So working left to right, multiply out brackets. So 4 by 2x is 8x. 4 times minus 5 plus by minus is minus. 4 5s is 20. Now we're still taking away the 1. On the far side, we have the 3x plus 7. So then we have to go and look at what do I need to do in order to bring all the x's to one side. So I was going to clear off some of the fluff here. Okay. So the first thing I see is, well, I want all the x's on one side, and generally we want them on the left, although that depends on the situation. But in this case, I want the x's on the left, so I'm going to take away 3x from the right. If you take away 3x from 3x, you get nothing. Now, I'm okay to do that as long as I do the exact same thing to everything on the far side. Now, working left to right, I have two little sums here. 8x take away 3x is 5x. Now the minus 20 minus 1, I could combine that now to give minus 21. On the right hand side, the 3x take away 3x have cancelled, and I'm left with just the 7. Now I want the x's on one side, the numbers on the other, so I'm going to get rid of the minus 21, and I'm going to do that by adding 21 to the left. Now if I do add to the left, I have to do the exact same thing to everything on the far side. Now the consequence of that is working left to right, minus 21 plus 21 have cancelled. And on the right-hand side, 21 plus 7 is 28. Now we're almost there. I want to get rid of the 5 in front of the x. So the simplest way to do that is to divide it by 5. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to everything on the far side. And my answer is 28 over 5. Now it doesn't say how it wants the number, but you could change that to a decimal. But that is basically the answer. Okay, now in the notes here, I put it as 5.6, but it says x is an element of R, so it doesn't really matter. Right, that's part A. So again, like all these type of questions, if you just give it a go, you'll get to a certain point and generally get the low partial just by removing the brackets. And then as long as you remember, it's only an equation of one unknown, so it is solvable, and make your best effort. So even if you don't get all the way there, you'll still be, racking up the marks. So part B then says Liam, Joan, and Martha split a bill in the following ratio. So 4 is to 3 is to 5. Now, Liam and Joan paid 105 in total between them. So 154 between them. Martha paid the rest of the bill. Work out how much Martha paid. Now, even without really delving into the question, ratios are effectively fractions, and the way to find the denominator, or the bottom part of the fraction, is to add the parts of the ratio. And in this case, I get 4 and 3 is 7, and 5 is 12. So there's 12 parts. So one person got 4/12, and that was Liam. Joan got 3/12, okay, and then Marta got 5/12, so almost half. Okay, now we know that Liam and Joan together got 154. So Liam and Joan together is 4/12 plus 3/12, so 7/12. What they're telling us is 7/12 is equal to 154. Now, my old maths teacher would be screaming in my ear to go, always bring it back to 1. So if 7/12 is 154, well, 1/12 is 154 divided by 7. Okay, now there's a step of algebra in there. So 1/12, now I should know that 7 into that goes twice. 7 into is equal to, no, don't know why that's still there, is equal to 22 euro. Now we're asked how much did Marta pay? Well, Marta paid 5/12. So if 1/12 is equal to 22, well then 5/12 is equal to 22 by 5, which is 110. Now, does that pass the smell test? Like, like she got 5/12. It's 110. It's less than 154. So there's nothing majorly wrong there in my imagination. So again, just to run back over this really quickly, we were told that Lehman John paid 154. We were told that the ratio that they have is 7 parts. Okay, so 7 parts is equal to 154. I actually kind of did this a slightly different way than what I did before. 7 parts is equal to 154. Then 1 part is equal to 22. Okay, a different way of doing it, but same basic gist. Now, if 1 part is equal to 22, Marta still paid 5 parts. 5/22s is the 110. So that's part B. Now, part C says write 128 in the form of 2 to the power of k, where k is an element of n. Now, that means that k is a natural number, so it's a positive whole number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Now, if you know your powers are 2, well, 2 to the power of 0 doesn't matter. Okay, now it is equal to 1, but it's not a natural number, 0. So 2 to the power of 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4, 2 to the power of 3 is 8, 2 to the 4 is 16, 2 to the 5 is 32, 2 to the 6 is 64. You can just mess it in the calculator. 2 to the 7 is equal to 128. And that's our answer. Okay, so k is equal to 7. Now it says then part 2, hence or otherwise solve the following equation where x is an element of r. So again, r is a real number, so it can be any number. Okay, it could be a fraction, could be a decimal, could be whatever. Now we know from above that 2 to the power of 4x plus 1 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 7. Now, when both base numbers are the same, you can ignore them and just equate the powers. So this is an equation of one unknown, so it is solvable. We want x on its own, so I'm going to get rid of the 1 on the left by taking 1 away from it. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to both. So I end up then with the 1 minus 1 is 0. It's gone. 7 minus 1 is 6. Then I want to get rid of the 4 in front of the x, so I'm going to do that by dividing by 4. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. And the 4s will then knock each other out. So x is equal to 6 over 4, or what's that? 1.5, or 1.5, or whatever way you want to describe that. But normally we do it in the simplest form, so it'd be 3 over 2 if you were going fraction. So that should be what I have in the answer. Okay, that's cool. Now that should be the end of question 4. So as always, if you want to copy the notes I'm working off, just send me an email at shanetroy@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to get access to more playlists, and see you on question 5.